No Hendrickson tonight?
She said,
That's what you said,
what?
that she's got the flu.
I think so.
I left for Watertown at 1 this morning to get back here. in
Well,
time for
thank
this.
you. That was very nice of you to do that.
Where'd you leave? Where'd you
I
come from?
went to Watertown, I left at 1 this morning, so I would be back here for the meeting.
Well, we welcome everybody tonight to the Hermosa Town Board Tuesday, October 18th, regular meeting on 2022. Being 6:03, I'm assuming,
Oh, one?
or 1, yep.
Two.
So with that being said, roll call, Hendrickson is absent tonight, Holsworth's here, Kramer,
Here.
Schumacher,
Here.
Thomason.
Here,
We appreciate the exuberance in your voice tonight. Item B is acknowledge, and we want to appreciate our finance officer also being here, and our mighty and fearful attorney representing us in his
fearful or fearless?
strengths and holds of everything.
It is fearful.
Appreciate our public works and audience being here tonight. Let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
thank you all.
You're welcome.
With that being said, are there any changes of the current agenda items? I know we had just a brief discussion with Mr. Ferguson as before we got in, and there will be some time for an executive session tonight in the discussion of the fine and penalty of the land applying situation that we've had, Mr. Higgs, so we'll talk about that and then further move from there on that part of it, but other than that, it is on here. Anything else from the finance officer on any changes or board members? If not, a motion to accept the agenda is read.
So
Mr. Thomason makes that motion, do I have a second? Second by Kramer. Any further discussion with the board? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Next item is the consent calendar. Approval of the October 4th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. If everybody had a chance to review them, I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Thomason makes that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Schumacher. No further discussion in amongst the board, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next item on here is the conflict of interest declaration. Any conflict of interest from anybody tonight? Thank you, we'll move forward to item 5, claims.
Claims are revised from the packet. I'm printing them right now.
Oh, very well.
So we'll have a brief recess.
Oh, dear.
There were several that came in yesterday and today, and I wanted to get them into the packet since they were, it was late in the month. We're not going to have another meeting until the 1st of November.
Thank you.
What the difference is from the what was in the packet, there was a Vonda Belt is in there as a she painter for some cleaning supplies. Black Hills Cooperative came in. Let's see, Lingo, which is our long distance carrier, came in. ODP, which is Office Max, Office Depot, came in. And I think, oh, there was one for DANR, excuse me, for environmental fees for $100. So that was the difference of what was in from the one that was in the packet.
So So your new balance is 3681.73 board. Anything there you see of importance of discussion? If not, motion to approve is presented with the new revisement. Thompson makes that motion. To have
I'll
second?
second that
Second, Kramer. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, item 6 is law enforcement. I see we have no attendance tonight. Committee report then won't happen. Custer County log won't happen. Abatements, I know we talked about them. Kramer was out of town
Again?
and Jill wanted to wait for you to get on abatements and go
Yes.
back through that list and re-review that. So we'll hope that you'll have a follow-up for us and act on it, on the ones that haven't. I know I mentioned if you need to hire Ferguson on a few of them, there's 2 or 3 that weren't completed, then we need to get it done.
Okay.
Get it handled and get it taken care of. And then, as far as the dumpster goes, that will be put back on to P&Z in our work session. There was some discussion about items that were found on the sign for discrepancies yet. So what we will do is review them, and then language that needs to be put on the new sign for that re-review. So if you'll remind between you and Jill that we'll have that at our next work session. After we do Black Hills Council of Local Government, I figure they'll be first on the agenda.
Okay,
That night for the work session, we're gonna have a preview of them also on a presentation, so.
so Jill was already trying to, or was working on drawing up new words for the sign.
I have wrote
You have too?
several things out already,
Okay, all right,
and then items that should be discussed too that
okay.
could be footnotes on it, so I have, if I remember in the morning, I'll bring my sheet by and she can make a copy.
Do you think it's good to just start looking, get a couple quotes already with what's on there? That's what we thought
Comments
we could do.
and Rosenbaum's are about the only 2.
Okay,
You know, if you got a smartphone, you can put reminders in it.
Do what? That's what I thought.
Smartphone versus the flip phone.
That's why I like that personal representation. And if you don't have any more constructive conversation, I'd appreciate it if you'd be quiet. All right, after you're done picking on me, we'll move ahead here. That's enough. So, with that being said, then we'll follow through the abatements. The law enforcement radios, we want to thank Mr. Thomason for removing them, getting the serial numbers coming up, working with Gail on putting it together on a release form. And then that way we were covered both ways. The gentleman showed up to pick them up and we said we weren't ready, Gail did. And that way we were covered with what we had for our serial numbers, and then with the release form, that if we want them back, then we will get them back. And so that way it's just a transfer, basically a use at this point.
Very
Chuck
good.
Irvine helped me remove those also, it wasn't just me,
So
so
good,
that way we know.
thank you both.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yep.
So big thank out to all of you.
Thank you, Brett.
So that's appreciated on that part, and that way we'll move forward with that part of it. So other than that, anything else under law enforcement? If not, motion on item D to remove it.
And they,
Thompson makes it, second.
Okay.
Kramer, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under legal, number 7, we had the discussion of the delinquent assessment on the Swinger lot, that Mr. Haig and Goff and Johnson were gonna meet on that, further discuss it, and time didn't prevail for that. You think we could do that before next meeting?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Good.
Mitch and I had a little tough time trying to get together and so forth, but
Okay.
should be able to address that.
And did you have a conversation with him?
It
And is it final?
is, potential under certain conditions. Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, so, but it's not a hell no, but it's a probably not. you know.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So then,
Probably not.
Probably not interested in continuing on as full-time city attorney or regular city attorney. And so there may be there are a couple conditions that he would consider coming back. So, now we discuss it.
something that we need to discuss in executive
Probably it's the
session.
executive session, it's really not a big deal, but
Yep, okay. So we'll bring that back under that part of it. We'll also, before we go into any assertions of the next claims list is what was referenced on our settlement agreement. I would like to have an executive session discussion on that first with Mr. Haig. And then when we come out of exec session, then we'll know if we need to make a motion on that or not.
yeah. Right, and that's what I was going to ask, Mr. Chairman, under legal, whether you wanted to address the DNR settlement agreement or not at this
After
time.
executive, yep,
Yeah.
we will. And that will be appreciated. We've had some new information that we've learned, and I want to share that with you.
Okay.
That way then we can further make a proper decision and amongst the board and you. Appreciate that. So with that being said, under legal, then we'll have discussion when we come out of executive then.
Okay.
Under item number 8 is engineer. We have the water rehab project WRT pending, of course, till the October 27th is the release of the money. October 26th is the commissioners meeting. I'm gonna wanna gather the info that we had. I know I have it probably somewhere too, but from ACES, we had info when we went to Pier for the DA&R meeting that had that separation. I wanna gather that to be able to give to the commissioners to show them what the differences in user fees were. And then what we'll have is the user fees of what we were going to be with our sewer award with the DA&R and what that cost is going to be. The user fees of the water that we have with the award with no grant at present. And so they're aware of that in that comparison. And that way then gives us them 3 comparisons for Southern Black Hills water comparison to where we're at in them conditions, so.
Okay.
And I expressed in the last commissioners meeting that I would gather that info to bring to them if it helps them with information on that aspect of it.
Okay.
And then go from there. I'll
Is
be
that
right with you, sir, here after
Is that something that I should send to them before they're,
I don't know that I want it to go anytime before we get to the meeting.
okay,
Because too much information seems to harm us anymore in preparations.
okay,
So I would rather personally hand it out at the commissioners meeting
okay,
and then explain each sheet as we go through it so it's not misconstrued because there's been too much bad information put out there that hasn't been understood and then too many assumptions instead of realities of facts and actually asking the right questions.
yep, okay,
So we will have that information that we will present, and I will definitely come with you and work with you to help
Make sure
present
you
that
get
and
it-
make sure we got the right stuff
sure,
together.
okay.
And then we'll have that all put together. Did you have a question on the WRT, sir?
I did. Do I need to recognize who I am and that?
You will, yes.
My question is, on some of the funding, on the expansions you guys are looking to do, have you also taken in account what it's gonna cost the town for the operator that's gonna have to operate those new facilities? On the water side of it, it's gonna bring it up to another level in the
Right.
tier on licensing. So have you taken into consideration the overall cost of maintaining and operating that system also after it's, it's done?
No,
Okay, so
well, I
I
mean, we've talked about it, but
Mhm.
until we actually get the blueprint and everything in front of us so we
Mhm.
know that,
okay,
that will be applied and then that
Okay.
is part of the user fee.
okay,
So we are aware of it, we have
Okay.
talked about it, but,
okay, that
But
gets
it's just-
figured into it,
yeah, because
okay,
the funding has been up in the air so many times back and forth, that now we're at a base where if we have the funding, then we can actually get today's prices, because
Mhm.
everything is no way that they can lock it in more than 30 days anymore.
Okay,
So then it'll give us that numbers, and we go back to Mr. Ferguson and say, okay, what are we gonna have different for you to run and do this system, and what requirements are
Yes.
gonna be involved? So,
yes,
you're exactly right.
okay.
Thank
And
you.
something else that I noticed in some of that, I finally did find a blueprint for the lagoons,
Right,
okay? So I was happy to finally find that information. But I noticed there's conflicting numbers between ACE Engineering and the numbers that the state has as for the capacity of the cells that are out there right now. We're looking at two different numbers. And I just kind of wanted to make you guys aware of it, kind of make sure we're working with the right numbers for the math and,
see, and we'll come into that when we get into that program expansion. We're asking ACES now to put that together and come back to us. So we're back once again in that plan stage, because they've got to do the archaeological now on it before we can actually come back with the final submitted plans, then be presented to our public works and public to look at for review. Then if there's any questions, then we'll have that public hearing status time. Then we'll all review from the state to what we have, and
I apologize because I'm kind of jumping in the middle here, so I'm kind of bringing myself up to speed a little bit too, so I
nope,
appreciate
we
that.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Questions are always good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll move forward then with item B then. That'll be the Hermosa sidewalk portion of it.
Sorry.
I'm feeling a little intimidated here.
Sorry.
And that, of course, we discussed last time, it's on there more so that we know there's gonna be an expansion of cost, so we'll deal with that as it comes. Item C is the sewer project lagoon expansion. I just explained in conversation what we were doing on that phase of it. Item D is the water sewer facilities plans, resolution review, DA and an R award. And that portion of it we're also under review, and that will come down into rural development. I have more to add after we've had our discussion with what came back from Dylan in projects in which are in your packet under 8K, and so I'll further discuss that. Item E is the Town of Hermosa Water and Sewer Extension Project. That is another circumstance that's been discussed with Mr. Haig, and all kind of fits all into the lagoon land application portion of it as to what we're doing there. So that's ongoing pending. The Hermosa Hills drainage, I have drove by that. I haven't talked to Mr. Poulos, we've missed each other. Looks like he's got it completed. I'd just like to have ACES come by and look at it now. I just want to guarantee that Mr. Poulos feels he has satisfied it. Under abatements too, there was discussion about that first unit in Hermosa Hills with the backhoe sitting there on the property. That maybe we can review and look at that.
Okay.
Whitney Street drainage, the South Dakota area rural water. We were gonna retest that. Did we ever retest that again? Before we talked about the fluoride, and then you were going to test that one more time. Has that been done?
Yes, we haven't got the results yet.
Okay, so that'll be pending. I do really want to kind of push on our concerns of that before winter too, because we're going to end up with the same mess that we had last year. So we can further get with the school if we need to, or what we need to do, or where we need to be at with that. So that will further follow. The 5th Street repair, I have not gotten over there to fill that in, but I will. Roy's Drive-In, sewer line, once again, that's a foolish discussion. Further, when we got, the last I heard, they had their engineer, they wanted Roy to meet with them, talk about it, try to put it together. I don't know, I have not heard the results, so. Facility plan on item J for booster, water meters possibly to add to USDA. And K, our rural development, in your packet under 8K, you have what the responses from ACES was to Gail Bodeker, from Dylan Tramp, and basically the skinny of it all is in the bottom middle where we need to provide the 5-year financial history. We need to provide project information, which ACES is that part of it. And then the current balance sheet from the town also that we need to provide to him for his information. They have in-house engineer now. They figured he'll be on board by the first of the year. And then we'll get this stuff put together, as we've already made motions that we're moving forward with the USDA. We made motions that we're moving forward with ACES to put the paperwork together on the booster. And so we need to convince her to move a little faster on getting us the information and that submittal on that portion of it. We're going to need to publish the intent that we're applying for federal funding through our local government for circulation. So that needs to have a motion to allow Gail to do that.
I'll make the motion.
Thomason makes that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Kramer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Also in the project scope, as Dylan has went through it, it was asked, as we've asked, that what if the project becomes smaller? What if Gumbo Lily doesn't want to go with annexation? And we pull that from the project. What if the well drilling, still the user fee is too high for us to be able to afford to do it? We remove them from the projects, but we want to keep the booster, or we may want to keep the fencing, or it may vice versa. The well doesn't work, but Gumbo Lily is still going to go on. He says, yes, project scopes can change and be altered. So that was the question that was also asked in here. He does like our budget and our bid program and presentation to be as solid as it is with everything that we want to go forward with. And I think in a big portion of that, we have talked that we of course wanted to add the booster, the fencing, the meters, all into that condition, to be able to make sure we could have them all added into the circumstances of this all. And I think we want to continue with any of them projects and make sure of that. So that way we have it all listed and in their project plan. So we'll continue to work with ACES on that too and make that happen. One other thing that I need to bring up while we're in engineering, I found very interesting, commissioners meeting, of course I spoke, as I have, in reference to presence now, with the present award that we had from DA&R with no grant, that it would make it very difficult for us to proceed with the well at presence because of no grant, because of the user fee cost. And we want to be more proactive with our citizens to try to make that as effective and reasonable as we can. Which they were glad to hear that we weren't going to proceed with the well right away. And I said, but we are still looking at USDA and seeing what that possibility could be. But reality is, even if USDA were to come through, we're still in a 2-year period before any of this would become reality by the time you look at construction application. And what he says here, realistically, the closer we get, you're 180 days for just the application portion of it to put this together. So that's where I told the commissioners that's where we were at now. We definitely know we need the WRT, that is our lifeline, that we need that backup for our second well, so that we are in good condition on that, and that we don't feel regionalization is an option at this presence, and that it is more affordable for us if we're going to go that route, to use our 2 existing wells, put the WRT in, and we're going to put out as much as Southern Black Hills Water with 3 wells at 150 gallons a minute, where we will be doing 160 gallon with 2 wells at our presence, and that's being conservative, I feel, on that number, and that's kind of what was gathered from Mr. Ferguson and what our flow tests were and where we were at in levels. So I expressed that heavily because they had, like I expressed last meeting, felt that we were in a condition where we were gonna drill a new well, so they felt regionalization was better for us and not to give us the full funding for the WRT package and take 150,000 of it away and give it to the Highlander project in Custer, whom are drilling another well. So I expressed, no, this is our lifeline, we have to keep this, and you've pledged it, and we took it off of our DA&R application in Pier that we presented to them for this well project. So it's not even on the table anymore because of your commitment. So I said, please, we've gotta have this consideration to work with us. So then I do my normal roundtable where I talk to all the commissioners after the meeting to try to reiterate that. And then I went to Todd Fish. And Todd Fish has been the one, of course, that's been dispersing this funding. And Todd Fish made the statement, well then, I guess it won't be a problem if you guys will sign a commitment that you wouldn't drill a well for 10 years if we're gonna give you this $500,000. And I said, where did that come from? I said, how can you ask us to not commit to drilling a well for 10 years on the condition that we take the 500,000? Well, he said they've been having a lot of problems with communities getting this ARPA money and saying they're gonna use it for a project and change their minds and use it for a different project. And so the monies aren't getting put where they properly need to be. And I said, that isn't a condition by us. And I said, it's not a problem that's ever gonna happen. So I said, I don't feel that's a fair offer to be put to us on a condition. It never was put into that condition. And talking to 2 of the commissioners, they both felt, that don't even sound legal. I don't see how we could make this a condition of awarding you ARPA money and say you gotta not drill a well for 10 years. I said, it just don't sound right. You gotta,
I was just gonna say, we could sign the contract as long as it also said in there, as long as, while the population is still as it is. You know, if our population doesn't grow, we won't need that well in 10 years. See what I'm saying?
yeah.
I mean, they can't hold us to that number if our population, if we get another 160 homes, how can, that's not realistic. But we could sign it as if there's no population growth, you know.
I don't even want to.
Well, I wouldn't want to either, but that would be a,
Caveat that we could use.
right, exactly.
So I just wanted the board to be aware of what was said and what I said, and I feel that, I'm hoping you're in the same agreement. We don't want that tagged to anything that we're doing. I mean, it was offered under the
Yes.
need, that they know it is a lifeline for
You
us.
said that was Todd Fish who said that?
Correct. Yeah. So it wasn't in and amongst any of the commissioners, so. But that's where we left that at, on that circumstance, and put it in that circumstance, so. So with that being said, that's where we're at with the USDA. We'll continue to move forward with that. It unfortunately is a little more work for Gail again, in the office, but
Sorry, no.
it's a condition well worth moving forward with. They also have, excuse me, their archaeological aspects that have to be complied with, that they do, part of the application process. So I think we're also gonna wanna, I gotta meet with Mr. Shore on doing some of the conditions we agreed on the easement on, the graveling up by the tower for additional parking, and then looking over the North Water Sewer extension items that weren't completed, and hopefully things that need to be completed and reseed and so on and so forth. I'm going to ask him also about still, if everything is still good for the land up there, to be able to put the well on, purchase price. We almost need to reiterate all of that again too, because it's been quite a while since
Yeah.
we've started this, over a year. and make sure everything's still on the same page. So I will be pursuing that and following that. Okay, any other questions on that from the board? Okay, that's where we're at. We can move then from engineering to planning and zoning then. You have in front of you the October 11th, 2022 minutes. Bobby Caskey, of course, did her oath of office Tuesday night. We appreciate that. I'm glad that she was there. So between her and Tanya, it's awesome that we got 2 great new members on the P&Z board.
And a full P&Z board.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we
It's awesome.
appreciate that greatly. Always appreciate that. Item C is the 2022-18 moving permit informational. Custer County Fairgrounds moving that 20 by 20 garage from 194 Fairgrounds Place Road. It was kind of a fast, hurriedly done thing. P&Z motion second to approve the moving permit with the stipulation, a new site plan with foundation and anchoring details be provided, and that vote was all made a motion of all ayes.
And we haven't heard anything from them. We contacted the board and a couple members on the board, and they haven't responded on that yet with a new site plan.
So we probably need to leave this pending then, so that we get that, and then have Jill reach out and let them know that we can't approve any of that until we have that information. And the next item is 2022-36, the informational permit for 2 4th Street, 160-foot storage shed that was moved in there. They made a motion and second to approve the permit. All ayes, motion carried. I'm asking for a motion.
I make that motion.
Motion by Thomason, second.
Second.
Second by Schumach. No more discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The next item, and I don't know that this even needed an informational permit, but is the 2022-37 informational permit for 300 East Main Street, number 5, lot number 5. They installed a solar panel on their rooftop. P&Z did, and of course, make a motion and second it to approve the permit, and all made ayes and approved. And on an informational permit like this, I don't feel we need to, but yes, ma'am.
We also noted in the meeting that it was a maintenance item, no permit needed, informational otherwise, but we also thank them for taking the time to do so.
Exactly. So that one is appreciated that they brought it forward. So we can remove item B, D, and E. Do I have that motion? Thomason makes that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Schumach. Further discussion? There being, yes, ma'am.
The further discussion is that maybe we would want to talk about doing an ordinance for solar panels at some time in the future. Jill's done a lot of research on that, and there are ordinances out there that are showing that, because some people say that they complain, I mean, just some of the things that people complain about the light hitting on in their,
Sure.
worrying about if the panel blows off, where is it going to be at if they do it on a stand rather than on the rooftop. She's been doing a little bit of research on that, so maybe in the future, after we get some of these other couple of ordinances off the plate, we can look at discussing whether or not you want to have, because we actually had another person call today that sounds like they're coming into the area to install solar panels. I don't know if solar is coming back again. I mean, remember for a while there that it was kind of a hot thing, and then now it's kind of dwindled out again. But so we had somebody call today and asked about our ordinances and would we have on. So I don't know if you guys want to look at that in the future, but
I think P&Z should put it on their agenda, because I can exactly see structurally if they put too much of a roof load on.
that's
some
one of the
them,
things
there's
also.
Some of the units in Rapid where they're taking a whole half of a roof up with them panels, And so it would probably be a good thing, and then safety issues, and then a licensed contractor that's coming in to do that, no different than what we have in applications on roofing to building to anything else with the application of solar. So I think it'd be an awesome thing to have P&Z put on their agenda for review. So you might make mention of that to Joan. Joan, if you will accept that on your agenda revision, we appreciate that. Okay, and then, as we mentioned, then we will add the yard waste dumpster discussion back on the work session and P and Z next meeting for language on that, and
Okay.
have that ready to go on that portion of it. Okay. Next item is number 10, Public Works. Committee report.
Yeah. Don't have anything on the streets. Street lights, we're still in the process of repairing. Some of those, we still have some that are, the PAL lights that are on offers, and we got one that's blinking rapidly. Still trying to get connected with them to get down here and get.
Something we need to do too up there by your place and Mindy's. That stretch in there is so dark, across from Delmer's old place and that. We need to add a street light in there. The other night when I pulled in for the kids there, I mean, it's black. And there's one clear up by Cannon's, and then nothing else down but Ralph's in there, so there's nothing in the middle. So we need to add one.
It's down on the old highway coming in?
Nope.
It's
Nope.
black down there. I mean, the only thing is lights is there. I got a light that I paid for. Actually, two of them, but
Right, down by your garden area there where,
yeah, they're just from there and east, it's just black.
yeah, and that's what between Whitney and then up there on Manning too. There's that black spot in there that's just horrible, so.
Yeah, the worst part about it, people, you see them walking in that area all the time.
Yep, that was my ticket. That is one of the biggest walking thoroughfares. They'll come down that, up Fifth on the sidewalk, then they'll shoot back down Vilas, up Fourth, and then down Main and make the loop, is what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
So,
black.
yep. So I think for the safety of that, we need to review looking at that.
2 streetlights, one
Well,
down
I
on,
think down on Whitney, we need to look at a little more. There's one on the corner of Third, I believe, but there is nothing all the way to Fifth in between there. So it could be a possibility of 2 of them in between that area.
Yeah.
We need Black Hills Electric to come down and look at that. And then adding one between Cannons and Fourth there on that one too.
So 2 total,
Pardon?
3 total.
Correct.
The last time I drove down Vilas, it was about the same way. In about the same spot. It was really, really dark.
I guess I didn't pay attention
So,
to them
I
last night.
think maybe we all need to take a drive
Yep.
at night and really check, if we're gonna do it, let's really do it.
Yep.
Check it out and go through the whole town and just make
I
sure.
go to
Then bring
bed
a
at
list.
6,
Mhm.
so,
Bring what?
I said I go to bed at 6.
Oh,
No.
well,
I
it'll be
don't-
dark at 6 here pretty shortly. I'll pick you up
Yeah,
at 5.
I agree, we should
about
all go
Yeah.
out and,
be dark.
And then we can get a list brought up here to Gail to call them and
Yep.
see what we're gonna be looking at for a cost then from Black Hills Electric.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I have no problem meeting with them and since I'm on streets and in Ferguson and I can and we can be determined.
information by next meeting.
Yep,
Okay.
see if we can, we'll find out what Black Hills Electric schedule.
Okay.
We can call Lonnie and see if we can get him over here, so. Further, Mr. Ferguson.
Water. TSG called me today, and they did locate a saddle for the pump house down there, so it's just been, everything, got anything to do with saddles or meters or anything's back ordered, just, but they did find one, and they called me this morning to be able to reconfigure that plumbing down there.
Yep.
Because the problem we've had is that if we change that around, that we can't move the transducer from where it is, so we've got to resaddle that pipe when we move things. And we had to, that's a 3-inch ductile iron, and finding the saddle to fit it has been very difficult. We had 1 or 2 come in and they were the wrong size and shipped back, but we do have tracking one this morning, so it's UPS. We should have that.
Okay, thank you.
And,
That'll be one mission that'll be good to accomplish further.
our quarterly was submitted, and those samples that I pulled, we should be getting those directly. The other samples that I sent in were lagoon stuff, and we'll discuss that when we get into sewer and the other part of it. We do have a number for the equipment rental and pipe and that kind of stuff, and we're awaiting permission from DNR to land apply, and we haven't gotten that permission yet. So we're supposed to get some kind of report today, and it didn't happen.
You had a question,
You
Kramer?
claim that mostly on Linda's relation, so, yeah.
Yes, anything else, Chuck?
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
I think that's it on sewer.
Nope. I got more on water.
Okay.
So last month when I was reading water meters, when I got to the grocery store, the owner informed me that he had made arrangements with the town to read his own meter. And I said, oh, okay.
Now you're speaking of.
So, not speaking, I told you who I was speaking
Well,
of.
down here, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said, okay, great, you know. The reason I said, okay, great, is because when you read that meter, you have to go all the way through the back room into a little room where the water meter is in the corner and it's turned upside down and it's this far off the ground and it's dark in there. Even with the light, it's dark in there. Because when you come in, like anytime you come in from outside where you've got bright sunshine and you're coming into a dark room, you know, you can't see. So I always have to use my flashlight on my phone or whatever, and I really have to look at it. And I was thinking, oh, that's kind of nice, don't have to deal with that one anymore. Well, I'm not exactly sure. The ordinance actually says that that is not a doable thing. The
Correct.
ordinance says that a person provided by the town shall be reading meters.
Yep.
And the information that I got is that he called up to the town office and stated that he had seen me on his camera, I don't know the word he used, basically snooping around his back room. And first off, I'll tell you, I didn't. Second off, I would like to see the tape to what he is replying to, because I don't like being accused of things that I have not done. And this is another reason why I am so on board with getting this electronic read system. The climate in the world right now is just awful. And I don't want my name blackened for something I haven't done. I mean, if I've done it, fine. That's another issue. I did not do this. You do have to walk around. Sometimes I'm presuming it's shortly after a truck has come in or, you know, supplies have come in, and there's a whole lot of stuff back there that I have to walk around to get to the doorway I need to get to, or quite often the mop and bucket are right there and I have to move that, you know, whatever. So I'm asking the board what to do, what should be done, what can be done.
It's plain and simple, the ordinance says. So you just need to go down and read it and express to him that, I'm sorry, but we need to read it, and we need to have that verification. If he has any discrepancy of that, then we'll have to have Mr. Ferguson go down.
Yeah,
Take Chuck.
didn't realize there was a problem.
What I-
We don't have a problem, I can move that. We're gonna have to move it outside anyway.
The remote.
For the remote, the new satellite will be mounted on the outside, so I don't have a problem with rerouting that, putting it outside. We've never had a problem
Thank
with it.
you,
We've
Chuck.
never had a problem with it before.
I didn't know we had a problem with it either. This was just last month's reading. So, 3.5 weeks ago.
I can
Okay,
fix that.
thank you.
Fix that.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Yep, we'll let Mr. Ferguson get his report made. You have more, Mr. Ferguson?
No, I think the rest of it will be discussed,
Yep.
under the sewer situation, so.
So what we had, before I go to any public input, the land application contract, Kramer, you had a report on that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, before we do that, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Under streets, I need an approval, I need 2 more loads of gravel. We're gonna need, for fixing over on 4th Street. And of course, then we're going to be fixing that alley by Joe's too. And I'm about out of gravel over here now, so.
Where are they getting that gravel?
Comes out of Oral. I've really been pleased with how it packs and how it stays. It has worked really well. But I need a motion for 2 more loads of rock.
So moved. I beat you, buddy.
Schumacher makes the motion, second by Thomason.
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we'll go back to the land application contract.
The Negebauers called yesterday saying that they had a proposal, and Gail told them that I was in the office, and Stan came in and brought me in, we've discussed it. It basically says the cost of the pump would be $150, the cost of the pipe would be $150, the cost of the tractor is $50 per hour. I'll read it to you. Negebauer Brothers agreed to allow the town of Hermosa to pump treated wastewater onto surrounding Negebauer property. Negebauers assume no responsibility for permits, ordinances, or other liabilities associated with pumping or distribution of the wastewater. The Negebauer Brothers agreed to rent the equipment, tractor, truck, and pipe necessary for the pumping the Hermosa Lagoon and land applying the treated wastewater to surrounding Negebauer property. This agreement is for rent of equipment and does not include delivery, setting up, operating, monitoring, disassembling, or returning equipment in working condition at the end of the season. Also the maintaining of the equipment during the use.
So did they give a number if they have to do all of that?
They won't do all of that.
Okay. So then on their 150, is that an hour
That is a flat
Okay.
rate. That is the flat rate. So.
for a day?
The flat rate, if it takes us 2 or 3 days, that's a flat rate.
And then the pipe likewise,
Flat rate.
tractor likewise,
Tractor,
is by the hour.
yep,
So each time we have to use it, it's 150 for the pump, 150 for the pipe, and then $50.
for this particular use,
Correct.
yes.
They were talking a different pump when I talked to Craig that they had, that they may use, it might be different than this one, but this is the one they came with, so that's very reasonable.
In the last contract, it averaged about 23 hours, just to let you know what that would be. So, I told them that we would discuss it tonight and let them know. depending on when we can get this done, it's possible that Lon and I can help. I did talk with, called Bob King. He is willing to help. And you are willing to help. But as far as the moving and that kind of stuff,
Is the pipe out there now?
no, it is not. It is out there, and I'm told that the trailer that the pipe is on always takes lots of maintenance before you can even get it to move, because the tires are flat and this, that, and the other thing. And so that would also be our responsibility to do that, to make it movable. I do know that they have cut the hay or alfalfa, whatever, that's on the land, and they have moved the bales. And so it is basically ready at any time that we get the approval from,
You didn't talk about fuel.
about the fuel.
That's a pretty good item.
It is, but it's also an item, I mean, it's a have-to-have situation. And basically, I'd say they're not supplying it and that we will have to,
It
so.
doesn't state that they're not supplying fuel.
It does
Right.
not, doesn't say they are, but it doesn't say they aren't. But I would assume if they're not gonna be there to monitor it, that they're not gonna fuel it. That would be
And
the
it
way
never
I would
has
look at
been.
it.
We've all,
I can remember other times when we've hauled down fuel
but,
to do this, so.
I either use my tank, in some cases Chuck
Well,
used
that
his.
That was when we had the stationary pump. They fuel the tractor and it'll run 20 hours, and we fuel it when we take it back.
Okay.
Pull in, fuel it up.
For these
Yeah,
23 hours, and that's 1150, and then 300 on top of that, so.
about
yeah,
1450.
Plus the fuel.
Plus the fuel.
And plus, it's only a guess, but I'm guessing Bob King would maybe put in a bill for a few hours. It's a guess on my,
And that's each time that we use it.
this is each time we use it, and if we have any, luck, and we won't have to use it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're all hoping, and, so hopefully this will be the last time. We'll get that other cell going and get
Well,
fountains
even with it,
or
we're still
whatever.
gonna want a land apply, so.
Well, yeah, very possibly, yes.
That may, at a point that we get to pump in and do what we're doing, sell the water. We talked about that, but we're hoping in our long-range effect,
Well, yeah.
with the evaporators, with everything going on, that we may not have to.
Well, I don't think this is a question at all, because it's gotta be done.
Oh, it's gotta be done, there's
Yeah,
no,
there's-
yeah. I did not make the phone calls to research the prices of renting the equipment from anybody else. Stan actually told me that they had done the research themselves, and that in one particular case, the renting of the tractor from other companies is $100 per hour, and they cut it down to 50. And so I did not make those phone calls. We could if you
I think
really
that's
felt the
very
need for it,
reasonable.
but,
The only thing would be to go to Beersbach and get a big trash pump. They've got them out there, I haven't called and checked, but that would stream us down to gas, but then it's, theirs, I think the biggest was 6-inch that they carried out there. So we'd have to have a 6 to 8 to go to their pipe and still use it from that part, so. But I think at this point, with them offering all the equipment, we're just better off to use it. No, we don't want insult to injury.
I'm okay with that. Everybody
Okay,
want me to make a motion in that
Yep.
effect?
that we approve the agreement of costs and,
And let the neighbors know that we have approved it, and we do not know exactly when yet. I guess.
before the
if-
first.
Yes, before the first. I guess ASAP, I guess it probably wouldn't hurt if we just got the equipment over there And then it would be there when we are ready, so whenever we had time to get the equipment and get it there would be
Yeah.
a
They
good thing.
use that
So
tractor every
I
day.
second.
You
Pardon?
made the
They do.
motion, Thomas,
They
and
use that
seconded it.
tractor every day, so it's gonna have to be.
Oh, they do use it
they
every
pull
day,
the grinder wagon with it.
okay.
Last time we used it, we had to fix the tire on the grinder wagon and to be able to get it close enough to the building and, yeah, it's not just simple.
Right.
So we had a motion, we had a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The other items we had left were the South Dakota area rural water, daily readings and
pass that?
spreadsheet
Yeah.
are going well then? Okay,
Yes.
so we've got all of that present.
It was a trap, I
Wow.
know. Pretend I didn't do that.
Well, now you get to pick the whole thing up and put it right there on the desk.
That's a headline.
Somebody
Hope we
telling
all
you.
had some. Well, those are taped on there pretty good.
That was a trap from Vicky, I'm telling
See,
you.
now you can put it
She
all
did
right
the
Yeah,
there.
taping.
just put it on the
Yeah,
desk.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
That way you have a smorgasbord.
There you
Yeah,
go.
look at that. That's quite a deal.
Well, this whole desk, you know, was designed and donated by Mr. Haig,
That's
so
true.
anything that was there on construction flaw wasn't designed for a carrier.
I knew the minute that thing wouldn't let go, I thought, I'm in trouble here. But I kept pulling anyhow. Damn monkey trap or something.
that's fine.
Okay, on the CMOM, have we reviewed that? And you're making a spreadsheet on that also then, Jill is?
Yeah, we have a book ready for, going for, just to keep everything in there
Very
Good.
good.
together in one spot.
And that's something I think with Mr. Ferguson, like I say, that's pretty much a Bible that we've got there that we put together, so that'll be a good situation on that. Item F will be discussed in executive session, and item G then is only a pending item. Once we get the test back on that item and see where the level is, then we'll have discussion on that. Okay, you had a comment, sir?
Well, yeah, I did. So we're still awaiting approval from the state on doing the land application. Are we currently doing anything other than just waiting for their agreement? In other words, are we taking actions towards the problem, solving the problem on what's going on at the facility, right?
We are.
Even though we have this coming behind you guys
Right.
on that. But this has been going on for so long, okay? I went back as far as 2015, okay?
Right.
And I don't understand why we're not fixing the problem and doing what we gotta do to get the facility so it's in compliance and running correctly. And I don't understand if your public works is asking for equipment and city council is not acting on it and giving him what he needs for the facility. I feel like I would like to see y'all fix it. And it's so simple. If you spend more time fixing it than fighting the state
Right.
every time you want a land apply.
Yes, sir.
You're exactly right. And you just summed up the entire, at least 7 years, at least, of what we've been going through, right?
Yeah, here we are, 7 years later.
We have an approved CMOM with the state that they accepted. They also have sent us a penalty and a proposed settlement agreement. We've negotiated that settlement agreement where we believe it's acceptable to us and it is of course satisfactory to DNR because they proposed it. They were able to reduce the proposed fine from $32,000 and change down to $13,000. And with an anticipation that we will be using that savings towards buying some equipment and so forth, in addition to everything else we have going. Now, since in the past 5+ years, and longer than that, since we purchased the land,
Right.
the town has been has taken affirmative steps, perhaps not fast enough, but given money constraints and the whole COVID excuse and all that kind of stuff, all in all, the town has not stood still on it. They purchased additional land so that there would be area for growth. And that was done well over at least 7 years ago, at least. They have now essentially substantially completed the design for the expansion of the lagoons. Now, with that, and we've been informed DNR of this, because their level of frustration was getting high, understandably. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Well, and that's very well said, and that's where my level of frustration is, okay? I've experienced this firsthand. I've dealt with the problem, okay? And the solution's so simple, but everybody's looking over it, okay? It's so simple. I mean, we talk about expansion and all this and that, okay? What we need to do, we need to stop and we need to look at the operation of the facility, the personnel,
Right.
and what's going on.
We've left that open-ended a bit with DNR. They like the direction we're going. There's a couple things already that we're implementing or have looked into implementing and can. That is adding 1 or 2 pond doctors in addition to the 2 that we have, and position it correctly. The dealer for the pond doctor believes that we only need 1 right now, and a couple other different aeration devices, whether they're fountains or stuff like that, permit that the growth of the good bacteria, all those things you want to get done in that situation. We also are learning that, making sure, I guess, that the current lagoons discharge properly into the next pool correctly. That was something that you learned recently.
Well, and I kind of apologize for earlier on some discussions I had, that I was fed some false information on the lagoons. And I finally found the blueprint. So I was able to look at that so I could exactly see how they were designed to work, okay? So some of the stuff I was trying to figure out was going in totally the wrong direction. And I'm kind of mad at myself because I took somebody else's what was going on, and then I look at the facts and I find the paperwork and I find out they don't know what they're talking about, okay? The facility was designed for evaporation, okay, is the basis that it's designed to do, right? And in order to do that, the wind has to get to the water, okay? We can't block the wind. So there's such simple things that aren't being done to work towards correcting the problem, okay? And what I'm afraid of, what I see happening, we're not fixing the problem, we're making it bigger, okay? So as we move forward to make it bigger for the growth of the community, we also have to have the tools and we have to have the people overseeing things. I understand there's liaisons that overlook different departments. And that liaison that's overseeing water, wastewater, whatever, streets, parks, they could be out there and they could kind of be looking over the facility, okay? And
With
to get this,
what we've been, the land application is, I know it's an accepted means of use and treatment in the wastewater world. To me, it's still abhorrent, especially when we have E. coli, that's non-compliant, to say the least, content.
well, what gets me is the operator should have known that months ago. The
Well,
November 1st was coming.
It's dynamic, I'm not prepared to go there,
You know.
but it's a dynamic thing. It's all over the place as to any particular day and any particular conditions that might affect it. But I would like to, backing up a second here, we have a settlement agreement in place that will address the wastewater system, the lagoons, the expansion of the lagoons, but I couldn't agree with you more that there are things we can do immediately without expanding that will hold us in good stead, at least should, until the actual physical expansion does come along within the next, we want to say 12 to 18 months. So the 6 items that you were talking about, I would really be very interested in getting that list if you don't mind, and include those with some of the other ideas we were just talking about, to send to DNR and say, here's our position, here's where we're going with this. When we made application within the past, 4 or 5 days for another land application deal, DNR, I'm working with the Deputy Attorney General that's representing DNR on this matter, and they came to her and said, you know, they just, Hermosa just offered, or just asked for another land application. Where are we at on the settlement agreement? Because we're wondering if Hermosa's getting cold feet and not gonna follow through on the settlement agreement. And I assured her that that is absolutely not the case, and that we are following through on the settlement agreement. We hopefully will be executing that while I'm still here tonight.
Yeah.
And moving that forward. So they know they have us locked in.
Mhm.
And you're gonna see I think a much different, a markedly different attitude with DANR on how they view Hermosa in the near future. They're gonna see continued steps of our desire, or at least demonstrating that we're trying to make this thing work correctly. Like you say, work as designed. You know, work as designed and improve in all matters.
But it's also hard to set here, okay?
Well, I think
If you don't get out in the field and look at the facility, okay? Have you ever visited it? Have you been out there? I don't know. But what gets me is that there's things that could be happening to fix this in the future, because you can't fix wastewater fast. It takes a little bit of time to get that turned.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me like nothing's happening.
we have
A sense of urgency of starting to correct some problems.
We have a lot going on, and I think we're gonna move ahead with our agenda here, so we can get into it, but there are items that we'll be discussing in, like he said, executive session, and items that we've got new information about. But I would like you to do is what Mr. Hague said, and write down these items so we can go over them. It just, tonight, we have so much left on our plate, we'd like to get over it. But we do want your professionalism, and we want it to be wrote down and examine it at another time here.
Certainly.
And amongst all of us here, so.
And they're ready to, and they're open to hearing a number of solid ideas, because something so simple as lowering the vegetation around there to get that wind to the water, basic things. And
This is the whole basis of the concept, to be the operation.
It's a big part of it, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it plays a big role, bigger than I think we all really realize, you know. Because I learned that these really smart people that have figured this out, I don't question them. You just got to take their knowledge, right, and just run with it, because you'll spend too much time trying to figure out stuff that's way over our heads, you know. But anyhow,
I appreciate that.
you know.
All right, with that being said, Kramer, did you have any more?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we'll move into item number 11, Finance Officer then. And Gail?
Okay.
Monica, I see didn't make it tonight.
No, evidently not.
I didn't know, I was gonna mention to you to give her a call and make sure that she didn't have something going tonight or not, but we'll appreciate it and mention it to her next time. And then further with your monthly financials and quote.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of the financial reports that I put in the packet?
Mine is still the same always questions, you know how that goes.
Well,
I was so
we're
happy
working
to
on
see
these.
that G-Works
Yes.
and see how they record it, because I still have the same complications when you go through everything where it's reading 92%, 74%, you know, and then some of the percentage levels go up and beyond that. Percentage of budget, 243, 347, 412. But you look at the numbers and the comparisons, and it doesn't equate to where what we did before. And I think G-Works is probably gonna put that in a better format, because even when you're going through your trial balance, and everything comes down to the very end, and where we're at in all of our balances, everything is balancing out. I mean, it's all there in front of us, but it doesn't, with the trial balance, go to the year-to-date and match up with numbers in each category is what I'm looking at. They balance out, but they don't, I'm so used to, okay, we're at 80%, this is what we got left in that budget.
Okay.
And this is the numbers that we need to be able to work on.
Okay.
Or this number, you know, and it shows a minus 80, like let's say the top of it on property taxes, just for an example.
Which page?
Shows that minus 80.38
Which page, Dan?
on 11B, the cover page, this one,
Okay.
the very first page. But it, at some point when Shannon was there, that it would show, okay, we're at 80% of the budget, and this is what you got left, whether it's streets, or whether it's sewer, or whether it's, so you knew at the end, of getting closer to the end of the year, you only got 20% to play with, or 5% to play with, or you're over, you know, type thing. But I don't know that I can, you know what I'm doing, trying to go through the numbers. You can't calculate them all. The balances, the numbers are there, the corrects are there, your total revenues are there, your total expenditures are there, everything comes down. But there's gotta be another way we can separate out
Okay.
where we're
Well,
at.
I
You know,
haven't
like
really
even-
put any effort into getting new reports out of Banyan because we're gonna be going into G-Works any day
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So that's why I haven't really pushed trying to figure out a different report out of there.
Yeah, because even when you get over to page 1 of the budget year to date, where it says miscellaneous revenue, for example, and you're at 652.98%. For your county motor vehicle licenses, if it was at 93.95, does that mean we've received as much as we're almost gonna receive for the year then?
Under which revenue did you just say?
I said under like motor vehicle licenses, RE, where it's 9,500. And then it goes over to the year-to-date, because that was a year-to-date budget,
Well,
and then shoots over to the balance.
so we budgeted 8,900, 8,925 for motor vehicle. And we
So
have,
with that, is it correct that 93.95% we've received? So we're almost there.
no, that isn't correct.
See, that's
That is not correct because it would be over.
correct.
Again, I really haven't really pushed getting any, the reports are gonna be different out of G-Works. I think,
I think we can get at that accuracy, you know, where it would be nice for comparisons.
Right.
Then everybody can go through it and say, this is what we budgeted. Okay, we're at 75% of that, or we're 25% over.
right,
That's
okay.
what we wanna get at for a spreadsheet. Okay, further.
All right,
I've
so,
had my moment.
yeah, and I know, but G-Works is gonna be, I thought we were supposed to be training today, but she didn't get back to me, and I'm not sure what happened there, but we're gonna be starting training anytime now on that.
Is
So-
Monica gonna come up for that if she can?
Well, actually, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about, if we're okay with,
If she can make
if
it
she,
work.
and I
she'd
can
be-
put her on for getting paid?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I don't think any of us have a problem with that. It's better if they're here and staffed. You'd be crazy not to take advantage of that.
okay.
Further.
I put in a packet the community forestry grant,
It's a
we're passed.
bummer, I know. I wish we'd have received that sooner.
I know, we didn't, and that was really funny, because the guy came in the day that the email came in. And, he said that that's what he was doing, he was following up, he said, because he's just not getting really good response out of the emails.
Yeah, because that
And-
$5,000 would have been awesome to have put into what we just did.
I know,
Even though we've completed, it's still monies that are there, and then completions we could have worked and exercised on other areas, but the county shop, what we did in that alley up there, and what we want to do on some other stuff.
I know, we could have, that aim high was $2,600,
Right.
we could have possibly gotten
See, and
it.
there's that drainage on the corner of Whitney going around the Second, where we've got them two big cottonwoods that need to come out of there and be removed.
There you go, that's
And one
exactly.
of them is gonna be 2,500 by itself. but-
They have some money, I think, that they're, because he's going town to town even, but we missed the window.
So I wonder if we'll have another opportunity in it.
This is an annual,
So it is. That was my question.
Oh.
Monica is sick, that's why she's not here.
What's up?
Monica is sick.
Oh,
Her
okay,
whole family is sick.
thank you. So that's good to know then. Something that we could, I wish we had a file for grants that you know, something we can look back on so we don't forget. Yeah,
Why don't you just put it on a calendar on your computer? For next year's calendar on your computer? Set the
I've got
date
that
on
on my
it.
notes, so.
awesome. Yeah, because that's a good one, definitely. And I'll bet there's so much of that little stuff out there that a person doesn't get focused in, that would be a win-win for us.
You can do every time a reminder every year.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think it's community driven, like you said. They want that. Further, Gail.
I put in the insurance, I just didn't know if you guys wanted to look at this. Dan has looked at it, but I thought the rest of the board should look to see what we have for our
I have a
insurance.
few items, if we can go through them real quick, that I wrote on here.
Okay,
On the front page, you know, of course, we have 1678 for law enforcement that we're still paying. And I don't know if we want to remove that or leave that in, because that was under our own jurisdictional that we were paying that for Jim and Brad for their services, so.
and I sent them an email, but she didn't respond to me about having those taken off. Of
So-
the auto damage and the auto liability, I thought you probably would want to keep those two, but the law enforcement, I don't know,
See, in Custer County, it does their own thing, and we don't need the protection of liability because it is in our liability suit in here. So, the next item,
so wait, do you want me to see if we can just get that
Correct.
deleted?
I feel it should be. We're not providing our own law enforcement. If we get our own law enforcement in, then I would say we would put it back on. But right now, I don't see why we should have that.
And just the law
Remove it.
enforcement, the 1678, correct?
Correct.
You're gonna leave the auto on there, auto liability
But there
damage?
may be,
That should be dropped, for the
Yeah,
amount of
auto is-
miles that are
Yeah.
being driven, the cost of that should go way down.
You want
and it's
all
cheap
three of them
anyway.
down?
That
Off?
auto is cheap.
Well, I know, but
You're not gonna get it any cheaper or lower, just for something, just like our vehicles on our fleet. When you try to lower or remove, it costs you more to bring it back than it does to just leave it alone.
So you're just talking about deleting the law enforcement 1678,
Right.
leaving the auto damage and liability
Correct.
on? Okay,
Yep. And then The next page, we had the building for 234 Main, Hermosa. And I brought this up to Gail, that they've only got it at 553,846. To me, it should be at 750. I mean, to replace this building, there's no way you'd ever do it for 500,000. You'd have to be at $750,000 minimum to replace this building. So I think that needs to go higher. Down here where the booster station, they only got that at 50,000, but we're gonna replace that eventually, and it's not in function now. But to me, there's no way, even with that 2-inch booster, we're gonna put it in for 50 grand today. So that would be another one that could be raised if we do, but I think we leave it alone right now.
Okay.
Till we find out where our 6-inch is. I just wanted to bring it to attention.
Okay.
The fencing at the water storage tank, they've only got it at 17 grand. And as we get in here, the next item is that fencing bid that I got in here. As you can see, just to do the lower pump house using our fencing is 45 grand.
Oh,
You know, and so to redo that up there on the pump house will be 45 grand. If we had a windstorm, tornado go through or anything like that, we would be in that position. You're shaking your head, Mrs. Holsworth back there, can I answer a question? So, I wonder what their cost would go up if we raise this. Fencing
Would you want to
cost.
do it to 50?
I think on the hill, like I say, a minimum 35 or 40. If we had damage, you know. And there's one other question. In our liability insurance, on our blanket coverage, in the back of this, there's a $2 million. Would it be covered in that above and beyond? If it is, then we could leave it at the 17,784 if it's in the blanket coverage.
Okay.
Then we had the value of the building contents of what we had in here. We had the floating electric aerator, is at 43,588. They've got them listed at 100 grand now. Then we have the emergency warning sirens at 45,667. And the last one, you know, we had that back in '07, it was 50 grand. I guarantee you, you'll never get it done for that now.
No,
Where are those at, Dan?
backside.
backside.
Page 5, the backside.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
So I think the 2 emergency warning sirens at 45,667 should go up. And I think the floating electric aerator, which is the pond doctor, should go up too. I know by 25,000 on each,
Yep. At
Okay.
least.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, just a quick question on that.
Yep.
Is public assurance set that deductible at 500, or is that something that we can choose what deductible? we would
There-
like?
I don't know.
Like the law
I-
enforcement was 2 grand, the official's liability is 500, official's liability below is 500, and Good Samaritan is 0.
I mean, if there's certain items that we're looking at doing a substantial increase in the amount of liability coverage
Right.
or replacement coverage, to say, okay, what is a 750, if we move this up deductible to 750 or 1,000,
Mhm.
but we get 100,000 more coverage, would it mitigate that increase in cost to us?
See, because that's why when you get to the public submittals of government property agreement, and it goes to special limits of coverage description, where your accounts receivable, you got 10 million for a loss there, 1 million per member. Your architects, engineers are covered by, per member, 2,500,000. Arson is 25,000. Building materials and loss, 2 million. per schedule, and then it comes down to debris removal. That's where I'm thinking our losses are, because they're at 7 million for debris removal in a bad situation. And so each one, earnings, expense, earnings period, restoration, you know, if we're covered in them blankets above and beyond on our values, you know, then it would, if they're bringing it to market value, that's where we've gotta be sure. Then down below, they got leasehold interest. So that leasehold interest, I wanna know if that's our renter, where we have $1 million coverage on that. I don't know what the language is. I looked through everything to see it, but I couldn't find any language, because they asked if we had insurance on it. We have insurance on the whole building, and coverages for building materials and so on and so forth. I don't see, other than our own contents, that there is anything. So we have our outdoor properties, pollutant cleanup, rental income on it, and then we have 2 million per member, but I don't know how that goes. Temporary storage location, 1 million per member, and they have storage down below, so I don't know if that will cover them. You know, we want them to have their liability insurance on the library, but I don't know if these are additional coverages that will cover that entity with the library being here. So that page is probably the most important page to ask questions off of,
Okay.
with the temporary storage backup, the leasehold interest, the cleanups, valuable papers and records, they go up to 1 million on that. Water tanks, that's another tough one. You know, they've got city hall and library as far as the structure cost goes in their description, so is that 553,000, like I say, to me, that needs to be 750,000.
Do we still own that?
Yeah, it's down at Chuck's shop. They use it on the town property.
Okay.
And there was 2 mow the park, but I had that hay and we've not mowed that since, so. So them were the questions I had on that and seen.
Okay.
So I think that would be, if you have questions for me on it, Gail, let me know.
Okay.
You know, because they've got their, like Kent said, their certificate of coverages in the back, they actually go into the deductibles.
One other question I had is before we terminate the law enforcement liability coverage, have we entered into an intergovernmental agreement with Custer County specifically, a written agreement where they cover us?
Yes.
And indemnify us?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep. That was one of the biggest liabilities that we want to make sure of, that they handled that part of it for that 80 grand that we're paying them a year now. So. Okay. Further, Gail?
Just the Midwest Assistance Program is left pending on the agenda because of just grant information forthcoming or whatever, but I just wanted to, then you see at the very end, there's at the FYI in the very end, they sent a thank you letter to the town and said that, just appreciate everything that we did, and I talked to the gentleman and he actually said that Hermosa set a new standard for this is the program that they had. He said it was, kind of a goofy thing, people, you know, that were showing him the lagoon and we're showing him water towers, and he said, but you know, this is what they do, this is what their business is, this is what their careers are, and he said it's a new program that they've just started coming out to see a project town, because CMAP helped us with our GIS mapping for our sewer and water and valve lines and everything, so there's this kind of a new program that they have of coming out and seeing a project town. And so we spent the entire day with them, and they said that they were thrilled, and they said Hermosa set the new standard. So that was kind of a neat deal. Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that. It was a good day and everybody was part of the team, so it was cool.
That's
Couldn't
it.
get any of them to do any brown trout fishing while Chuck had them down there, but
Was it,
they all,
was it the nice luncheon right by the lagoons? That-
Yeah.
that's why I was hoping Larry was still here. He'd like that brown trout fishing story.
Yeah, we took him to the senior citizens, you know,
Oh, that's right.
which
Perfect.
is kind of a,
They enjoyed it.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good. I heard they're from all over the place too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very interesting.
And that's why we're hoping they'll send more grant information and that we'll keep hard on them, that anything and everything for every, and that's why with even Gail, I said, if you send out there, we're looking at wanting to do the booster, the meters, the fencing, every one of the projects that are involved with USDA. Are there any other entities out there that we can have help with? They threw us at SRF, which is state level, but, you know, we need to look at that, and if there's another program coming for the SRF too, maybe we need to be looking at that just for the booster that might implement it a little faster. So don't be afraid to throw emails. I mean, and throwing them ideas, the more info, the better. Further, Gail.
Just a couple things. Jill is going to be out for surgery next week. She's having surgery on her arm on Monday. I'm not sure how long she's actually going to be out. She thinks she's going to be back to work. I said, don't worry until you really feel like it. However, I have a lot of family coming on to my house next week, and so I'm hoping that she'll be back on Friday. I don't want to put that out to her. I have kind of, but hopefully she'll be back by Friday because I'd like to take Friday off next week to spend some time with family. G-Works, we should be starting training any day. And then audit, we're almost getting ready for the 2022 audit, so I'm getting a little bit nervous because we haven't had the 2021 audit yet, but he said he'll be here in another couple weeks.
I was gonna just ask you, that was one of my questions, how he's coming along.
He isn't. He's not here yet, but
Have
he's,
you emailed him again?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be a couple weeks yet. I know it's gonna happen right about the time that we're gonna start training on the G-Works program. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be the exact same time, but.
So it always happens.
Never easy.
But yeah, so I just wanted to let you know we're
Most inconvenient time.
still on
Further.
for, that's it.
Okay, the only thing that we really need to remove off of there will be the community forestry grant. Other than that, everything else stays for a pending purpose, so we can get a report on the insurance in the Midwest, each meeting or any other information, so a motion to remove
So
that. Thomason makes it, Kramer seconds, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried. Under item 12 is old business, the Gumbo Lily Fairgrounds Place, McDermott Street, approval to proceed with annexation, request for the work session at P&Z October 25th at 6 p.m. So we'll be 2 boards there, and what we're going to be doing is going through the letters, what we want to do, how we want to approach it, and get it going. We need to get it going and get it out there. That's all kind of part of this program too, for the North Water Sewer Extension is huge, and our grant, loan, and USDA all hinges on it. So it's a big push, and we're going to need everybody's help and hands on deck. So, town sign is of course pending, and that's what I kind of was looking here at the bed booze and, you know, at that situation. I know we can find more. There's got to be more out there saying what we can use that money for.
I'll get some information.
Then what we have is the town office deck staining is still pending, library deck staining is still pending, the camera, the drainage, approval for the retention pond, that we did. We've only left that on because of the rural water and the investigations we're doing and what we've had on that. So that's what we have in old business, new business. The Hermosa Library at the commissioners meeting, they did approve the utility portion of it, that they're gonna pay utilities from now on. So they are going to be looking at building options. I'm hoping they'll go with what I referenced them to, that maybe we do something down at the fairgrounds and that they do a satellite sheriff, satellite license plate, maybe a community center, and then they're maybe even talking, doing a state entity, if they can get some state office in there and maybe even a federal office, so that way they can get state and federal grant monies to help build the building. So they've got till 2028 to
No.
do that decision, so we're kinda there. And they'll be proposing, and Tracy Kelly's working on the lease agreement, and it'll come back to us for our approval and review, and then we move from there if there's anything else we want for changes, okay? Custer County Commissioners meeting, the approval of mileage and per diem. I mean, we need to be at every meeting. There's no ands, ifs, ors, and I know it's a hard ship to try to be there, because me, I take off sometimes half or 3/4 of a day to be there. Linda likewise. I mean, some days you might be out of there in 2 hours, some days you're not, but I would sure like to have it to where we're compensated for that time when we're going over there for the mileage and per diem of that day. And that's what we did before. And what did we do for per diem before?
Well, we usually didn't pay the per diem, it was just considered another meeting that the board member went to.
So they
So
got
they were
paid board
paid-
meeting paid.
$50, not regular 75, but it was a special meeting, which was a $50 PA. And then, as I recall, and this happened a few years ago, I'm trying to think of if it was Mitch the attorney, or if it was the attorney before that, and dang, I can't, Mike,
Mike?
had said that in his research, he felt that payment for the board members for those meetings was not lawful.
Oh,
And I was pretty sure that it was you that was our attorney at the time when we set this up, and you thought it was, but, I mean, I understand that things change and this, that, and the other, so I don't know how it wants to be handled. I think that,
How bad do you want a board member to go?
We do.
they need,
So
a
that's my
board
point.
member needs to be there.
That was-
Needed to be there then, and needs to be there even more so now.
Regardless of what, and I was being a little facetious because it's essential. And the fact that it's very important to the town that be the case, to send a special liaison at whatever you choose or whatever rate you pay. You can choose that, and you can expend that money to compensate them for doing that, whether it's, okay, maybe there's a per diem and a state mileage, you go that way, or just create a category of compensation that the person gets the $75 a day for giving a half day. And whoever's doing that is doing, pretty significant service to the community. And we justify it all day long. I mean, if you look at something like that in the square pegs and the round holes, perhaps the way that a prior attorney was looking at it was, okay, when it comes to compensation for trips, it is pretty clear that if you go to a seminar, you get so much. You get your per diem and you get mileage. Now, that's different than we're talking here, I think, because you're talking a repeated situation that is again, key to the city's good, what I want to say, well-being, frankly. So I don't think you have a problem.
And I think we had a flat fee of $50 before that we did it for. And I myself have never had a problem doing it for nothing and have for all these years. But to have the convenience of somebody there every meeting, there is something that comes up on every one of their commissioner meetings that involves Hermosa anymore. And if we're not there, and I mean, you gotta be there at 8 o'clock because they're moving right along.
As you guys know, the county is a gatekeeper to a lot of money.
Correct.
And to foster that good relationship is really valuable, short-term, long-term.
Well, if I wouldn't have been there, that 2 meetings ago, we would've lost 150,000 in our
Yeah.
chances for WRT.
He could just work on commission, get 10% of it.
I would enjoy that. Bill, you wanna go in partners on this deal?
That wasn't official advice, but.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that as town board members, we all donate and volunteer so many hours as it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with paying to go to that meeting. It's not only the wear and tear on your car, the price of gas is high, going higher, and it's your time. That might be the time you're hoping to spend with your family or to do your grocery shopping. I mean, you still have your daily lives to take care of besides the time you
Right.
donate.
Absolutely.
And we get paid, what, 75 per meeting now? or-
75 for regular meeting, 50 for special.
We don't do it for the money.
No,
We're not doing
No.
that.
never. But I'm just saying, if we're looking at sending that individual, because it may be Brett one time, it might be Terry, it might be, whomever. But should we do it for 50 or do it 75?
75.
Okay, so I need a motion in that effect.
So moved.
Schumacher makes it, Thompson seconds it. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you, board.
Buy a half tank gas.
Exactly.
So, the fencing estimate is broke down in here. And his evaluation of our used material, if we had to buy that on market value today, is all the 7-foot that's down there, and posts and gates, would be $7,725. We paid $1,100 for everything down there, so.
How many linear feet is?
There's 600 of our used that can be used, and that's not using all of it. There's a bunch of 6 down there, and then there's some bigger, 8 or 9 down there also.
All chain link.
Yep.
Are you looking at surplus
I
or
know, I'm
used?
trying to.
No, we're gonna use it to do the lower pump house.
Sure.
But the new stuff then, also on top of that, was 18,000 to finish it out. And he has everything, everything broke out, so there was no questions on how the posts were laid out, what the gates were laid out. He did the bid on the back sheet of it, that details everything that he's gonna do, how deep he's gonna do the posts, the whole 9 yards. Now, I told him, we aren't gonna do this anytime this winter. I said, we're looking at doing grants. And I said, when that grant comes in and we put this in, we need the estimate to put to the grant, so they can see what we're gonna do. So that's what the purpose, this isn't for approval of fencing tonight, this is approval to put in for grant money to do the fencing. And
Very
then
good.
I said, by using our material, shows our willingness to split this 50%. Yes, ma'am.
So Vicki told me to let you know that she's asking for another bid from another company that she knows as well.
Yep, that same guy. He's the one that wouldn't use the used fence down below. So that's fine. She can tell him to come down. I don't want him seeing the prices, and I hope she didn't give them to him.
I don't think she did, she just gave him the length.
So if he uses the same scale of the specs off of this, of what was done, and what we're using for used material, less the prices, fine.
Okay.
Otherwise, if he comes in $10 cheaper, I'm gonna know what the heck happened here. So, it's a matter where I like apples to apples, and this guy came in blind, looked at everything, went down, did all the measurements, what the rolls were, what the pipe was, what the gates were, what he was gonna need for hardware. So, I don't have a problem, and like I say, that individual needs to not just bid it all brand new. I want our stuff used.
Okay.
So he can contact me, and I'll give him the spec sheet, and I'll give him the details and the information,
Okay.
since I started the project. Is that okay with the board?
Fine.
And then this is, like I say, for a file that we'll keep. And then apply with either our USDA or wherever we may be able to come together on. Okay?
Yep.
The water rate structure draft resolution 2022.
That's just the draft for the resolution, just so you would all look to see what I had together for the, this isn't first reading or anything like that, just wanted to see what, you guys look at it and see if there's anything that I didn't get right from when we raised the water rates. And obviously, it'll be a resolution of 2022, but it's not gonna go into effect until the first bill in January 2023.
So you need to set it up for next meeting, first reading.
Right.
I have a question.
Yep,
North Hermosa water users.
yep.
If it was explained that our ordinance states that it has to be a town-approved person to read the meters, how are they reading these?
But we have a master meter that goes out to them.
That I do read,
Yep. at
You
Gage.
just read the master?
Yeah.
yes.
They just read their individual ones?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
That
yep,
answers
and
my
that's
question.
right where Tom's repair is
Yeah,
where the master meter is there.
yeah, okay.
And so that's where we have that, and that's why the costs are what they are.
Correct, no, I understood that part, it was
Yeah.
that I was confused, like, why are we not reading the master meter? Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So, okay. That makes
If we had to
sense.
read each individual one, your emphasis that they should be another $10 higher or more would apply.
Correct, exactly, yeah, and my big thing was just, there's a reason the town board members should, or whoever we appoint, should read the master meter, because you don't want someone screwing that up,
Yep,
not knowing what they're doing, basically.
yep, exactly. Any other questions from the board? If not, then it'll be put onto our next agenda and start with our first reading next one. Item number 14, items from citizens, no action will be taken, 3-minute time limit per speaker. Meetings of the Board of Trustees are open to the public. The audience may be allowed to comment on specific agenda items during the time allotted on the agenda for those items. According to the established procedures of the board, this is a time for members of the in-town municipal boundary citizens to express concerns or discuss issues having relevance to the town. Anyone wishing to address the town board during this time shall be asked to identify themselves. The number of presentations and time allotted to individuals may be limited by the board president, and individuals shall refrain from discussing personalities. The president at his discretion may recognize patrons at other times during the board meeting. No action will be taken by the board on any issue related without being first placed on a future agenda by the board to allow for proper notice. With that being said, is there any public input? I went through all of that and nobody's gonna speak.
I got something worse to do, so we'll let you get to it.
But we appreciate everybody's attendance tonight. Trustee input, I'll save for after executive session. And we'll now ask the board to please, do you want a 5-minute break before we go into executive session or just go into executive session?
Just give it done.
Get it done.
Okay, so being 7:49,
I'll make
let's go
that
into
motion.
executive session. Kramer makes it, Thomason seconds it, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, and thank you.
Okay.
This is thanks.
Motion at 9:22 to come out of executive session.
So,
Thomason makes it, second
Okay.
by Schumacher.
My hand was up.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I need a motion then.
We need to get
as-
let the
Go ahead.
public in if
Burmester.
there is any.
Good God. Really? There's,
I'm sure there is.
can't.
So as per request, Mr. Hague wants us to give me the authority to sign the agreement with DA&R, and then put it on the claims list for the 13,000 for next meeting, and initiate it, and go from there. So I need a motion in that effect.
So, good enough.
Thomason makes it,
Sure.
second by Kramer. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Trustee input, Schumacher,
I'm tired, let's go home.
Kramer,
Second that email.
Lots of good information tonight, thank you.
Thomason.
Good meeting tonight, thank you.
And I appreciate everybody tonight too. We've got a lot on our plate. Hopefully we'll get everything initiated in the morning. And a big work session coming at us with annexation. None of this needs to be on.
Sorry about destroying your candy wheel.
No, I know
So
that.
basically, what it is just input from everything.
Right.
I kind of went over the minutes on page 154 of Robert's Rules. It says, it isn't what's said, it's what's done, is what's put in the minutes.
Correct.
So I don't care if anybody's trustee input to what there is on anything else that goes on in that meeting, does not need to be recorded legally. And it's said in the book. So for anybody that wants to read that, it's on 154, bottom of the page. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
9:25.
Thank you.
Schumacher, Thomason, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Tape off.
Yay, we're going to basin tomorrow.